In Penal Code Section 261, California law defines rape as non-consensual intercourse accomplished by means of force or threats of violence. Now, intercourse means any penetration, no matter how slight. We all know that if you force somebody to have sex with you against their will, that is rape, and we have a common understanding of that. It's also considered rape in California if you have sex with somebody who is unconscious and therefore unable to consent. So for example, if you go on a date with someone and you go back to her place and she is drunk and she passes out drunk and is unconscious, and you have sex with her while she's passed out, then that could be considered rape and you could be charged with rape. Now, there's nothing more terrible than someone being forced to have sex against their will, except perhaps being falsely accused of it. And unfortunately, rape is a crime for which many people do get falsely accused. And accusers do this for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's to gather attention, sometimes it's because they feel rejected or slighted or alienated by the person who they make the accusation against. Oftentimes there's a misunderstanding between the parties as to the issue of consent. So for example, a guy may be having sex with a woman and he thinks that she's willing and she's into it and she wants to have sex, but in reality she doesn't want to have sex and she's fearful, but she doesn't communicate that to him. Well, if you honestly and reasonably believe that the person is consenting and wants to have sex, then that's a defense, and if we can establish that, you should be exonerated of the charge. So anytime we have a he said, she said situation, one of the things that we always do is really scrutinize in detail the background of the accuser. So if we find that this person has told lies in the past, that this person has a reputation in the community for being a liar, if we find that this person has made accusations, similar type accusations against other people in the past, if we find that this person has behavioral problems, psychological problems, and we can show that, then we can undermine their credibility and usually get the charges reduced or dismissed. I had a client recently who was charged with rape, and fortunately he and his family came to see me right away. Now, he was a college student and he was dating this young lady, and they were over at her place and they had sex, and she later accused him of using force and of raping her. I contacted the district attorney who was in charge of the case, and I said, listen, give me a week to investigate this before you file any charges. And she said, okay. We sent our private investigator and we looked into the background of this accuser, and we found a restraining order that she had against a former boyfriend. And we went and looked into it, and what we found is that she made almost an identical accusation against a former boyfriend of having used force and violence to have sex with her. Well, I took this to the DA and I said, look, this is a serial accuser. She accuses all of her boyfriends of the same thing. And when the DA looked at this and examined her credibility, she decided not to file any charges.